Gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover asked a federal judge Friday to recuse himself from Hoover's bid for a sentencing break, 1 week after the judge challenged Hoover's attorney in open court by asking, "How many murders is he responsible for?" Defense attorneys Jennifer Bonjean and Justin Moore argued in a new 13-page motion that U.S. District Judge John Blakey showed actual bias toward Hoover by asking that question. He committed uncharged murders, and they said the judge pressured Bonjean into disclosing them. They also called the question wildly out of bounds and pointed to news reports about it. They specifically highlighted the September 27th front page of the Chicago Sun-Times, which quoted the judge over a photo of Hoover. Related. Judge challenges gang kingpin Larry Hoover's mercy bid. How many murders is he responsible for? The defense attorneys noted that Blakey, in asking his question, stressed that Bonjean should answer it as an officer of the court, a reminder of her duty to tell the truth. They also complained that Blakey suggested Bonjean ask Hoover for the answer, noting that he probably has the most knowledge of all.
Federal Judge John Robert Blakey must be disqualified pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 455 A and B. This was mentioned, this is the statute that was mentioned in the motion that was filed by Mr. Larry Hoover's attorneys October the 4th. September the 26th, Mr. Larry Hoover appeared in court on his first step hearing motion. And when he was in court, everything was going well. Prosecutors didn't have nothing new to lean on. So the judge, John Robert Blakey, who was a former prosecutor and had been on the bench since 2014, he was nominated by former President Barack Obama. He asked his lawyer, Ms. Bonjean, how many murders is Mr. Larry Hoover responsible for? Let me answer this question. 1973, Mr. Larry Hoover was arrested in Chicago, Illinois, went to trial, was found guilty of murder of one Mr. William Pookie Young. Mr. Larry Hoover was given 150 to 200 years. 1995, Mr. Larry Hoover, along with 38 other of his co-defendants, they were arrested on Federal RICO Act concerning narcotics, drugs, controlled substance. In that case, Mr. Larry Hoover was not held responsible for no murders. Since 1973, Mr. Larry Hoover has not been held responsible for any murders. 1995, when he was arrested on the Federal RICO Act, he was given a life sentence by federal judge Louis Webber, who passed away in June. Mr. Larry Hoover, to this day, has not been held responsible for no murders other than the murder that he was arrested for in 1973. Once again, federal judge John Robert Blakey must be disqualified pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 455 A and B. 28 United States Code 455 A and B states, A, any justice, judge, or magistrate judge of the United States shall disqualify himself in any proceedings in which his impartiality might reasonably be questioned. B, he shall also disqualify himself in the following circumstances: where he has a personal bias or prejudice concerning a party or personal knowledge of disputed evidentiary facts concerning the proceedings. For this judge to ask Mr. Hoover's lawyer how many murders is he responsible for, based on this statute alone, 28 U.S.C. 455 A and B, he must be disqualified. We have to be mindful that Mr. Larry Hoover's other co-defendants have been released from federal prison. These men and women have served their time, gotten out, moved on with their lives, living a useful citizenship. They haven't recommitted any crimes. They've been let off federal papers. They are living their life in a positive and productive manner. People, we have to demand that Mr. Larry Hoover and those just like him who are stuck inside of these penal institutions must be released. We cannot no longer allow these injustices to occur. I say this here because if you were in his situation, Mr. Larry Hoover has been incarcerated 51 years. Hear me out. 51 years. The man has served his time. Him, like many others who've committed crimes, they served their time, they've been released. Him, he's still in prison. Why is he in prison? This is a question that I am asking the public. We can't say that he was responsible for all the crime that's going on. Because if we look at the streets since 1973, or if you just want to look at it from 1995 on, is he responsible for any of the crimes that's going on in the city of Chicago today? Is he responsible for any murders that's going on all over the United States of America today? How could he be responsible for when he's locked up in the most secure prison in the United States of America, where everything he do is monitored? He's locked behind a door, and behind that door are bars. So in order for him to get out of the cell that he's in, he has to go through a set of bars, then go through a steel door. His telephone calls are monitored. His mail is monitored. His visits are monitored. He only can receive visits from those, his close family members. He do not have access to any emails. He has to shower within his cell. So we cannot sit back and allow this to continue to occur. The way we demand that people stand up for other human rights violations that's going on in the world, we have to stand up for this human rights violation that's occurring right before our eyes. This is a tragedy. And I'm saying this here because I've been in the belly of the beast. I know what it feels like to be stuck inside of a prison cell unjustly. I've been there. I've watched many men inside those prison cells who are there unjustly. Me, I was there. I was found guilty for the crimes that I did. I served my time now back home. Every other human being have served their time now they're back home. There have been men who have committed murders, and the United States Supreme Court have let them off death row, gave them a life sentence, and some men have been paroled, and they ain't served half the time that Mr. Hoover has served thus far. So my question to you all is this here. Should federal judge John Robert Blakey be disqualified pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 55A and B? That is a question. Also, should Larry Hoover be released from federal prison? That is a question. That is two questions that we must answer. So ask yourself, jump in the comments, send in your comments about this issue, because this is a very important issue. Thank you, thank you, thank you.